the last 30 years, the actual decrease in moth populations has been really, really marked and strong. It feels so strange to me to be able to walk down a country lane at dusk and see hardly any moths. When I was a child, you'd walk along and they would sort of alight on your clothes. So in 30 years, that change has been so dramatic. It's really, really frightening. In the International Red Data Book, but in Britain, there are 55 moths which are currently critically endangered, and vulnerable. And so Red 55 is dedicated to that 55. The way the book has been made is part of the poetics itself. So everything about its design and what it feels like and what it looks like has a purpose behind it, which relates to the contents of the chapbook. So, for example, the covers are bright red, and obviously they are to speak to the red data book and also to highlight danger and warning. And there is a debossed numeral 55 on the front cover, and that has no colour. It's just debossed, it's pressed into the card. And again, that's speaking to the fact that moths are disappearing, perhaps without people noticing. In addition, the way the book is bound is very, very special. It's bound by what's called cinnamon black thread binding. Not many places in the country can actually still do it, so it's quite an art in itself. And that cinnamon binding allows the chapbook to be opened completely flat on a table, so you can look at each page fully flat, and that's to represent the pinning of moths. When the Victorians pinned moths, they'd relax the moths by making them breathe poison made out of crushed laurel leaves, in fact. And before they were dead, they would pin the wings flat and basically break the back as such of the moth. And so that black thread is a form of mourning of what was done to moths, and it's representative of how moths used to be pinned. And on the back, very back cover of the chapbook, the text is black foiled, and that means that when you move the back cover in the light, it shimmers, and that reflects what moths, the scales on moths' wings do in the moonlight. And inside the book, there are two black pages. They're called end pages, and they're completely black with white text and illustrations of fading moths. The printer is absolutely amazing. It's called Dayfold, and they are in Dorset, and they work really closely with me to find exactly the right shades of red. And one of the key things they've done for me, which is again quite an uncommon thing, is they've managed to print white on black. That's quite hard to come by. Not only have they printed white on black, they've printed some sepia colours so that the illustrations of fading moths reflect quite closely and cleverly the fading of Victorian watercolours of Victorian collectors. And I was very, very privileged and delighted to be published by Muscalia Press, who are local. They're based in Colchester. They're a relatively new press, and they work really closely with their poets and authors, and together we came up with this the chapbook. I very much believe that poetry has a truth to tell, truth as the poet knows it, about the land and the landscape and the area in which they are.